Heart disease is sometimes thought of as just a man's disease, but it's actually the leading cause of death of both men and women in the U.S. In fact, women account for nearly half of all heart disease deaths. Tonight you'll meet a woman who didn't have your typical case of heart disease, but nearly became one of those statistics if it hadn't been for the quick actions of some of her coworkers.
January 30th, 2008. The day 49-year-old Kelly Flashberger of La Crosse died.
January 30th of 2012, I will be 4 years old.
The day started out like any other, but ended like nothing Kelly could have ever imagined.
I worked until 4:30, was going to meet my trainer downstairs, and decided that while I was waiting for her, I'd just walk on the treadmill for a while.
Kelly works as a patient liaison specialist at the Gunderson Lutheran Onalaska Clinic. She had started exercising regularly after work at the facilities on site to try to get in shape.
The last thing I remember was getting off the treadmill and grabbing an exercise ball, and that was it.
Kelly collapsed. She was suffering from sudden cardiac death, and no one was in sight until by pure coincidence, a maintenance man happened to stumble upon her, unconscious on the floor, clinging to life.
I've been told that I was gone for 12 minutes.
The maintenance man, Hua, quickly called for help. Nurse practitioner Julie Wipazinski and Dr. Kevin Jagger were two of the people who came rushing to Kelly's aid.
I wouldn't be here. If Hua hadn't found me and Julie hadn't done the CPR and Dr. Jagger, and I don't know who else was there. I just know there was a room full.
Kelly now shares a special bond with the people who saved her life.
Words can't express what they did for me. I mean, there's nothing I could say that would really, truly be what I'm feeling. You know, they're very important to me.
She still thinks about that day often, especially her kids who nearly lost their mom.
Nobody wants to leave their kids behind, and especially when there's supposed to be a lot of life left. So I was lucky.
So lucky, one of her doctors calls her a miracle. But Kelly didn't suffer from what most of us think of when we hear heart disease.
She didn't necessarily have high blood pressure and atherosclerotic or plaque buildup in the arteries. She had an abnormal heart valve, and she may have had an abnormal heart muscle that weakened when she had a pacemaker put in.
Heart disease is a broad term that includes everything from high blood pressure and stroke to heart failure, and it can be different for women and men.
Women typically present a little bit older with heart disease. They're about 10 years older than men. They present about 10 years later. And they oftentimes, because they present later, have associated other medical problems.
But it's important to keep in mind even healthy adults can develop heart disease if they have a strong family history of it. So there are things all of us should be doing to prevent it.
It'd be very important for people to keep their blood pressure under good control. Cholesterol control is important. Eating a low-fat, low-saturated fat, low-trans-saturated fat diet is very important. Exercise. Can't say enough about how important exercise can do to improve not only your physical health, but your mental health as well.
Kelly lives each day now with no regrets.
Life is too short. It's too short to get angry at people. It's too short to hold grudges. It's too short. You know, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to be happy and make other people happy. Because it can be gone before you know it.
And when her 4th birthday comes around next January, you can bet there will be another celebration marking her newfound life.
And tomorrow, the American Heart Association, along with Gunderson and the Mayo Clinic Health System, will be holding a Go Red for Women luncheon. The event helps empower women to learn about heart disease and stroke and how to save their lives. and WKBT is a proud sponsor of the event. And you know, Martha, one of the things that is really take home from this as well is the importance of learning CPR, because as you know, you just never know when you're going to come across someone who might need to be saved.
And it's actually easier now because you really don't have to learn the breathing technique anymore. You really just have to know where to place your hands and how many beats per minute, things like that, so you can help anyone.
Very easy to learn, and of course the American Red Cross office right here in La Crosse offers those classes all the time.
Good to know. Thanks a lot, Mike.